Welcome to my channel. I really appreciate every single person that comes to my channel. I'm thankful for those of you who have subscribed, for those of you who liked my videos, who've commented on my videos, and who've shared my videos. I really appreciate the traffic, and I'm amazed by the number of people that want to hear what I have to say. I want to talk about the Colorado-Oregon State football game yesterday. That was a disaster. And I'm not going to go through any of the game tape. There's no point. The offense had 42 yards in the first half. 42 yards. It was horrible. And I think there are reasons for that. I've talked before about the fact that they don't run the ball. And once again, they didn't run the ball. They only had 11 carries. I said we'd have to wait until the game to see what the impact of Pat Shurmur was. His impact was felt in some ways, but in the important ways it was not. And I almost hate to say this, but at this point I have to put the blame on Deion Sanders. Two different offensive coordinators, same result, no running game. That has to be something that Deion himself is wanting to do, and I don't understand why. I'm absolutely certain that his coaches are telling him, "Coach, we need to run the ball more." But for some reason, he's not listening, and I don't know why. There's speculation on the internet, as there always is, about all the reasons, and some people say it's because he wants to inflate his son's statistics so he can go to the NFL. That's the biggest pile of hogwash I've ever seen. First of all, why would Deion want to put his son in a situation where he's getting clobbered? I think part of the reason why Shedeur played so poorly in this game, and he did play poorly in the first half, is because he was still feeling the effects of the UCLA game. He had to go into the locker room in the third quarter of this game and get another pain shot. It's hard for me to believe that a father would want to put his son in that position. So I'm not buying that explanation for it at all. But on the other hand, I don't know why they're playing this way. I don't know why they're not running the ball. I don't understand it. It's obvious to me, and I'm not a professional football person. I'm not even an expert on football. But if it's obvious to me, it has to be obvious to the coaches. And they've got to be saying something, unless the coaching staff at Colorado is just a bunch of sycophants that are afraid to say anything. And that's really hard for me to believe. I don't think that the people in that room are the kinds that would just sit silently by and let Prime do whatever he wants without speaking out when they think he's wrong. But he's clearly not listening. And you'll see that. I'm going to play a brief section of Shedeur's post-game interview, and then I'm going to play the first part of Prime's post-game interview, and then I'm going to talk about what they mean.
Shedeur Tyler King with the Denver Gazette. We saw you go back to the locker room. I think it was late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter. What's going through your mind at that point? Is it just do whatever you need to do to get through the game?
Of course, I ain't going there to just dap nobody up and have fun in there. I left, you know, because I had a lot of pain in my body. That's
it. I have to say this about Shedeur. I have to. He is one of the best, if not the best, quarterback in the NCAA right now. He has played this entire season, except for the first two games, under extreme duress. And yet, he's got a high completion percentage. He's thrown for a lot of yardage. He's thrown for 24 touchdowns. You don't do that unless you're a top-notch quarterback. There are a lot of quarterbacks in the NCAA right now that if they were under the kind of duress that Shedeur is under, they would fold. Not only does he not fold, but he goes into the locker room, gets a pain shot, and comes back out and continues to play. That kind of toughness is hard to find. And anybody that says Shedeur is not a good quarterback is just not paying attention, plain and simple.
Hi, Shedeur. Adam Muster-Tire, 24/7 Sports, with Coach Shermer taking over play calling duties. How has that change looked for you as a quarterback?
It's not really a big change. We all in this together, so it's not. We use the same concept, same everything. I mean, it's football. Everybody has the same concepts. It's just different way you see it and different way you read it sometimes. But overall, I liked it. So it's either way. It's either way. I ain't really have a preference for everything. I'm just, if that's the decision, just go with it and, execute whoever's calling the plays.
Ariel Studio 9 News, one quick one to start. Was there any consideration that you wouldn't go back in once you went to the locker room?
Nah, what type of guy would I look like no matter what, leaving all, 80 of us out there hanging? Like, it got to be life or death situation for me to just leave everybody hanging like that. So, just the pain of not being there for them overrides the pain that's going through my body.
And then when you came...
Toughness. Plain and simple. Toughest quarterback I've ever seen. I don't know of a quarterback that's taken the kind of punishment he's taken and continues to stand in there and throw darts. He was a little bit off today, or last night, excuse me. But I can understand why. He's in a lot of pain. He's still suffering from the UCLA game where he got beat up really, really badly. It wasn't as bad in this game. I think they had a total of 4 sacks, but they were getting after him, and he was having to run for his life some. And for him to do that when he's in pain like that and say, what kind of guy would I be if I didn't come out and play? My admiration for him has risen greatly. I was already impressed with him as a quarterback, but now I'm impressed with him as a person. But now we need to listen to his father talking at the press conference.
Thankful for another tremendous opportunity to glorify the Lord. Came up short once again. This is hard. This is hard. The reason it's so hard is because you're capable of doing better, playing better, performing better, calling better games, coaching better on my behalf. And you are coming up short when you have enough to get the job done. And it's painful. It hurts myself, the team, and all the coaches, the fans, some of you as well that actually care. They played a valiant game. I love their coach. I love what he stands for. I love what he's about. I love the way he's resurrected that entire program. But our kids fought hard. They really did. And I love the fact that they didn't have any quit in them. That they rallied at the end and gave a heck of an effort. We just wish that we could do that in the midst of the game, the first, second, third, and fourth quarter with consistency, and we haven't found that level of consistency as of yet, and that's what's truly disheartening. Right before the half, we wanted to get out of there because we know we're receiving the ball in the second half, so the plan was to either get a first down and try to go, or if we don't, if we're not successful on first down, okay, let's hit the clock. Let's hit the clock. We had a drop. I think we had maybe 1 or 2 drop passes on that series, which is very unfortunate. Then they get a tremendous return. They had 3 timeouts. We knew that going into it. They had a tremendous punt return, and they were able to punch it in, which is.
Now, what he's talking about there is that the Colorado defense stopped Oregon, and Oregon did what's called a pooch kick. And they pinned the Colorado team down on their own 5-yard line. And then, with 45 seconds left in the half, Colorado passed twice. Both passes were dropped, and then they ran the ball for no gain. 3 plays took 11 seconds off the clock. If they had just run the ball and let the clock run down, they would have gotten out at the half with the score being, it would be 7-5. They were in the game. But what Prime is telling you is that he made the decision that they were going to try and move the ball. Now you think about that. They're at their own 5-yard line. There's 45 seconds left. They have not been able to move the ball at all for the entire first half. And somehow in his mind, he thinks if we can just move the ball, we're going to do what? What are you going to do in 45 seconds? That was one of the dumbest coaching moves ever, and that was completely on Prime. He just admitted it. Listen to what he had to say. We thought we could throw a couple passes and get out of there, and if not, we'd run the ball. No. You run the ball 3 times, or take a knee 3 times, and run the clock out. It's just stupid. And basically, that decision made me realize that Prime is the one who's behind them not running more. It's not the coaching staff. It's not the OC. It's not Sean Lewis. It's not Pat Shurmur. It's Deion. For some reason, which I cannot fathom and I can't understand, Deion does not want to run the ball. He's got a running back room full of excellent running backs, and yet he doesn't want to run the ball. It doesn't make any sense. I can understand why people say he's trying to pad his son's stats, because he's not running the ball, and so it leads to that kind of speculation. But as I said before, it's really hard for me to believe that a father would put his son in that kind of jeopardy just to pad his stats. And they're saying he's doing it because he wants to make him a higher pick in the NFL draft. Well, that's baloney. Deion's already said he wants his son to come back and play next year. So, there's a lot of people on the internet that are just, they open their mouths and they speak without thinking, or they're just flat-ass mean. They're just mean, nasty people. And there's nothing you can do about that. You just have to learn to ignore them, which that's why I got off of social media, because I got sick and tired of reading all that stuff. And I just didn't want to hear it anymore. It tears away at your soul. But my conclusion from this game is that Deion is the problem, and that they will not win another game because he doesn't want to run the ball. Until they start running the ball 30 times a game, until they start making defenses play honestly, his son is going to continue to get beaten up, and they're going to continue to lose. It's that simple. If you disagree with me or you see something different from what I saw, then put it in the comments. And I want to say one other thing. I didn't want to get out of here without saying this. I was watching Tank specifically tonight, or last night, during the game, watching what he was doing. And I have to tell you, he's aptly named. He's huge, and he's slow, just like a tank. And so defensive ends just run around him. And he can't even catch up to them after they've passed him. I saw one play where the defensive end ran around him. Shadur escaped the pocket, ran off to his right. There was a guy chasing him. Tank tried to catch up to the guy to block him, but he wasn't able to. He's just too slow. And he doesn't have the agility to play the position. So he's one of the guys who I guarantee you will be replaced for next year. And there's others on that line too. That's the reason why they're struggling so much, is because they're big, but they're not athletic. They're not agile. They can't move fast, and they don't have the football smarts to play the position. It's sad, but it's true. So let me know your thoughts. If there's something that you disagree with me about, or you agree with me, I don't care. Just put your thoughts in the comments. And as always, I pray that you will be abundant, that you will live a long life, that you'll be healthy, and that God will keep you safe. And I pray that He'll do the same for every one of your loved ones. And I pray that you'll be anxious for nothing, but in all things, through prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, you'll let your requests be made known to God. And the peace that passes all understanding will keep your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. This is the Vietnam Era Vet, out.